Lurking quietly on the corner of Madison Square is one of the darkest fixtures in all of haunted Savannah. Built in the 1840s by wealthy shipping merchant Francis Sorrel, the Sorrel-Weed House is the site of some of the most grisly moments in American history. Welcome to the Crafty Cryptid, a channel dedicated to the dark, the strange, and the mysterious told in story form. If you enjoy this type of content, subscribe. I post new videos multiple times a week, and tune in the last week of October for 7 days of spooky content. Now then, grab a snack and your sketch pad, and let's discuss the ghosts of the Sorrel-Weed House. Rumor has it that the site's significant paranormal activity is due to 2 suicides which occurred early in the house's history. First came the death of Frank Sorrel's wife, Matilda. Frank had been having a long-standing affair with a servant girl named Molly and had moved her into special accommodations above the carriage house. When Matilda discovered her husband's infidelity, she threw herself from the second-story balcony and split her head open on the flagstone beneath. Weeks later, Molly was found hanging from a noose in the carriage house. But suicides were not the only thing that people claim caused the haunting of the Sorrel-Weed House. The siege of Savannah happened on the very grounds. The Revolutionary Army was both outmanned and outgunned. Bodies were piling up fast. The revolutionaries dug a trench at Madison Square to bury their dead. Hundreds of soldiers died in the span of a few weeks. In the heat of battle, the dead and injured could not be differentiated, so sick and injured soldiers were thrown into the pit with the dead and were often buried alive. After the battle, the bodies were never exhumed. The city continued to expand around the old battlefield. Madison Square and the surrounding areas were built in the 1830s, 50 years after the war. Many of the buildings, including the Sorrel-Weed House, are built over the remains of the dead soldiers. If you walk into the basement of the house, you are walking over human skeletons. The house seems to harbor a vortex of dark energy that causes nausea and the sensation of being choked for those who venture into the basement. The ghosts of Molly and Matilda are said to still haunt the Sorrel-Weed House. Visitors have seen dark silhouettes walking through the halls. Some have captured photos of their spirits. In the dining room mirror, specters are often seen staring back at shocked guests. In fact, for this video, I was able to find one of these photos from a tourist who visited the Sorrel-Weed House, which I will now share with you. The photo is taken from a Country Living article, and the following is what the tourist had to say about it. In one of the photos taken of the dining room mirror, there was an extra face in the reflection, someone who hadn't been standing in the room with us. My hotel room was bright and full of light, as it was early morning, but at the moment I noticed the unaccounted-for person in the photograph, a dark shadow passed swiftly by the full-body mirror near the hotel room door. My first thought was that something or someone was waiting for me to take notice of that particular photograph. I had spent the entire day silently asking to see or feel something while on my ghost hunts, so in a way it all made sense. When I showed my friends who had been on the tour with me, we checked the timestamps and the sequence of my photos, while comparing them to the shots they had captured. A lot of us had the exact same images as we were standing in the same area as we snapped away. But my camera had caught something else in the historic home's dining room mirror. After comparing various timestamps and images, what we saw just didn't make any sense. There was a figure of a man standing in the background, off to the side, in the reflection of the mirror. Some have claimed to hear the sounds of a social gathering in the living room of the house. The sounds suddenly stop when someone approaches. The source of the sounds has yet to be found, though it's believed that the phantom gathering is a residual from one of the many socials hosted by the building's wealthy occupants. Lights flash on and off. EVP recordings have revealed voices and screams, and many visitors find dark shadows lurking in their pictures. People have reported seeing a lone lantern light moving past the windows in the space above the carriage house, and even a face peering out and surveying the backyard. Paranormal Experiences led ghost hunting team TAPS to investigate the house in 2005. They were able to capture a very distinctive yelling that lasted for several seconds. In the evidence of EVPs, or electronic voice phenomenon, it is rare that an audible piece of evidence is broken up into clear audio of screaming over a time span of a second or two. The house was even featured in the Travel Channel's The Most Terrifying Places in America in 2010. And in 2014, the Ghost Adventures crew investigated the Sorrel-Weed House. Zach Bagans, the star of the Ghost Adventures show, wrote about his experiences in his book, I Am Haunted. Quote, "Our investigation of the Sorrel-Weed House in Savannah, Georgia, gave me a 3-alarm hangover. It was very similar to a real one. Headache, nausea, dizziness, throbbing, memory loss. But weirder. I can usually gauge how bad my hangover is going to be by the interactions I have with spirits during a lockdown, but this one threw me for a loop." Unquote. Whether it's due to the remnants of a family tragedy or the unrest of 1,000 butchered brothers, the Sorrel-Weed House is deemed the epitome of Savannah ghost stories. So what do you think? Is the Sorrel-Weed House haunted by the ghosts of Matilda and Molly? Could the spirits of those who perished in the siege of Savannah be stalking its grounds? For more information on the Sorrel-Weed House, check out the links in the description below. I hope you enjoyed this spooky video. If you enjoy this type of content, subscribe and ding the notification bell. I post new videos multiple times a week. And tune in the last week of October for 7 days of spooky content. Leave a like and a comment down below. Thanks for watching, and come back soon, cryptids.